In a world dominated by sports podcasts, three friends team up to bring you another one. Driven by the incessant need to argue with one another, the Context Matters podcast will toe the line between what they believe and what they believe will piss off their friend. Listen and enjoy as the group chat you never wanted to read becomes the podcast you hardly want to listen to. The bits are long, the rage bait is real, and the context matters.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us on episode 2, the follow-up. It is Wednesday, January 14th, the Divisional Round. Another great week of football ahead of us. How are we feeling, boys?
Feeling really good. Feeling better than probably most people in this group right now. But we had a good slate of games. This weekend proved that there is levels to coaching, and sometimes the most talented players don't get the coaching they deserve.
Yeah, that's a good point. I was happy to kick back and watch some football with nothing at stake. I wish there was something at stake, but that's not the world I live in as a Saints fan. I do really quick want to touch on this. Thank you to everyone who joined us for episode 1 and are tuning into episode 2. We appreciate the support and the recommendations as we navigate this new space. We're going to continue to try and put out the content that you guys want to hear. So please let us know what you like, and more importantly, let Bill know what you don't like, because I certainly don't care. This is my therapy. I'm doing this for me, not for you guys.
If anything, that's the reason why we need a sponsor, so that you can pay for some proper therapy. Anyway, on today's slate, we will be discussing results from Wildcard weekend, debating the divisional round matchups, recapping our picks, props, and parlays from last week, as well as providing more for this week's set of games. We will be talking hot topics from the great weekend of football we just watched, as well as other items from around the NFL. And then we end the show with a little segment called Anything Else, where we touched on, you guessed it, anything else. But first, up front, we have a State of the Union address from yours truly. I know I got a lot of comments last week about some incendiary, brazen, bold takes that I had on last week's podcast, and after watching some great football and having some time to reflect, I've really decided that I was unequivocally 100% right. Jalen Hurts is a sorry excuse for a quarterback. He is terrible. Saquon rushing for over 100 yards, that offensive line, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, and the red zone god that is Dallas Goedert, and you put up those numbers against the 49ers, the injury-ravished 49ers? I have nothing else to say about this point. Like, I was absolutely right about everything on last week's podcast. Can you guys think of any spicy takes that I had that I should probably answer for up front?
I definitely do. Can we talk about the Chargers?
Rams at Panthers. Billy, did you hear anything there?
No, I didn't hear a single thing. I think we just go right into the wildcard games.
Yeah, probably
Let's do
a good
it.
idea.
So how about that MVP Matthew Stafford? I mean, looking at those throws he hit down the line, that dot to Colby Parkinson to win the game. Plus, I mean, even if you look at his stats, those are wrong. In my opinion, he had 5 touchdown passes in this game. Did you see that drop Puka had right before the half?
That was crazy. That's obviously not something that we see a lot from Puka. I like that they started strong, and I like that they finished strong. But what exactly was going on in the middle of all that, where the losing record 8-9 Panthers were making it a game? I didn't see that coming. I'm happy for Stafford. I love the guy. He's fun to watch. But that got a little dicey there for a minute, not the way that I expected it. I know that I thought there might have been a chance they kept it somewhat close at some point, but those points scored right off the beginning. I did not think that we were ever going to see life out of the Panthers, but they proved me wrong.
Yeah, they proved a lot of us wrong. I definitely chose the Rams. I knew the Panthers were going to... Well, you guys talked me out of my take, but I thought the Panthers would have a fighting chance in this. They started slow, and then they dialed up their defense. So what bugged me the most about this game was Matt Stafford, numbers, he played great. QBR is 48. He really didn't play that great.
You love those composite stats.
Well, I mean, if you look at a passer rating, it's not the same as the total quarterback play, which is why they made QBR, because quarterback rating is misleading. But the Panthers did a good job of adjusting to what they did. Yeah, they did it too late, and then they stopped doing it on the final drive. That drives me nuts. You watch games that you need to win. Some of these defenses, they play the same style, and some defenses, they just play a prevent, keep guys in front of you, and that gives other team momentum and easy throws, easy completions. They just march down the field, and you can't do that with a guy like Matt Stafford. It's too easy.
Yeah, there's a difference between. Go ahead.
I want to say, I started off my statement talking about the 5 touchdown passes he threw. If you check NFL.com, you see 3. I already brought up the Puka Nacua drop right before the end of the half. That was disgusting.
Drops are touchdowns? That's crazy.
Ball, on a great ball. And then the other touchdown is that Puka Nacua run that they counted on NFL.com. That ball might have gone from the 7 to the 7.0005 yard line, and technically been a lateral for a Puka Nacua run in, but that's a check down that Drake May does all day. That should have been counted as a touchdown.
Is that like a Herbert lateral where it hits the ground, or is that like a
different.
real lateral?
Okay. I don't know what you're talking about.
Packers at Bears.
What a comeback! What an insane comeback! I think probably half our audience, including myself, went to bed thinking the Packers absolutely won this game.
Yeah, it's we should have known better based on what we've seen in the regular season, right? But yeah, early on in the game, it looked like the Packers were dominating, and you're just not going to see anything from the Bears. But you want to talk about during the regular season, the Bears were down 19-24 against the Raiders with 1:40 left. They won the game. They were down 41-42 against the Bengals with 19 seconds left. They won the game. They were down 10-20 against the Giants with 4 minutes left. They won the game. They were down that 1 point to the Vikings with 4 seconds left. They won the game. I mean, this has been the story of the Bears all year long. They fumble through the first half and try and minimize the damage as best they can, and they come alive in the second half and just absolutely rip people apart one way or another. The defense played better. The offense played better. It was really, really good football and fun to watch.
Oh, it's definitely fun to watch. The Bears did a good job, all in all, at the end of the day. They don't have a great recipe for winning games. I think their luck is eventually going to run out, but I've been saying that for quite a while now. They just give up big leads, and then they just pull a rabbit out of their hat and just make the game-winning plays when it matters most. And what I like the most about this matchup is it's great for the NFL. Bears-Packers, it's a real rivalry now. Do you see the post-game with Caleb Williams with a cheese grater hat, and he was grating cheese?
You love to see it. Yeah,
really
anytime
do.
that you can spark the rivalry back up between anybody, it's a good time. And like you said, it's good for everybody involved.
And then the Bears had the audacity on their social media team to release that post-game locker room where Ben Johnson was screaming, "F the Packers, I effing hate those guys." And he really does. And I think the whole team relishes in that mindset of, you're not our friends when we're on the field. You're our enemies, and let's play ball.
Yep.
Yeah, one thing I don't know about you guys that I'm going to be sad for the rest of the playoffs. We're all parents here. I'm gonna miss seeing Romeo Dobbs's full diaper head out on the field for the rest of the playoffs.
That
Sponsored
Guardian
by
cap,
Pampers.
that Guardian cap is hilarious. I mean, every time that I'll be watching football with the family, and people who don't really watch all that much football will be walking in the room and have to stop and do a double take and what's going on with that guy? Oh, Megamind over there? Don't worry about him.
He's just extra safe.
Is he wearing 2 Guardian caps? Because I swear,
gotta be.
There are other players, and his is just 10 times the size of everybody else's.
So a little fun fact: Packers are 1-5 in the last 6 playoff games.
Woof.
So that's why Matt LaFleur was on the hot seat, which it sounds like they're going to re-sign him. But
yeah, that's not getting it done, and especially with you have a fan base that you have to wait, 70-something years in order to get season tickets. Yeah, you got to be playing a little bit better than that. Bills at Jaguars.
We called it a legacy game. We came in saying this needs to be the Josh Allen legacy game. And it was. I mean, he was carrying dudes into the end zone. This was
On a
an
quarterback
insane
sneak.
watch. Just an insane watch. I feel bad. Shout out Hunter Moore. Sorry. I felt
Is that the
bad
guy
for
that
the
knows
Jags
when his
fan.
friends' birthdays are?
It is the guy who knows.
I heard
when
it is.
birthdays
I've
are.
heard of him.
I feel bad for all the Jags fans. Like I think they
Yeah.
came out flat.
I don't. I think what that reporter did post game, I don't know if everybody's seen it, but she pretty much, Liam Cohen was at the mic
Yep.
and she said, you guys had a great, like the first time ever a reporter's complimented the
That was
coach of
nice.
a losing team. Yeah, it was great to see.
But
And
don't
Part
the
lose.
Jaguars,
maybe.
they're the Jaguars. They're great to be in the spot they're in. And losing isn't the end of the world. They can always retool, and they have their quarterback, and they have the coach. So things are looking positive for them.
Duval. Yeah. I thought it was fun to watch the Jaguars this year. It's fun to see the grit and the players in that team. I mean, Travis Etienne has really never gotten his flowers since coming into the league. He started with that first season, obviously injured, and didn't really get to play. But then beyond that, he put in some real productivity, and people still don't really mention him up there with some really good running backs of the time. And he just kind of keeps fighting through it. He had some weird injury issues last year, and going into this season, we didn't know if it was going to be him or Tank Bigsby or Bayshell Tootin, getting the carries, and he came right out and he's like, "Nope, I'm the guy, and I'm going to prove it to you." And you combine that with some of the other people on the team. Obviously, the disappearing act that is Brian Thomas Jr. is going to have to be studied in the offseason, and they're going to have to take a look at that and figure out what's going on. Obviously, there's people talking about potentially even trading him, which would be unheard of for somebody who was a first-round draft pick and had the productivity that he did his rookie year. But, if he's not gelling with the team, then so be it. Jacoby Myers, another player that, you weren't really sure where his career was going. He was always just kind of a solid receiver, and he stepped in and he was like, "No, I'm here to show you guys, like, I am the dude." And he was. So a lot of fight, a lot of grit from that team. I think that we're going to see them back, especially in the division that they play in. We're going to see them back in the playoffs, and it'll be good for them. It'll be good for us. I think they're a fun team to watch.
Yeah, I was really surprised about the Bills' defense being able to rein in what Jacksonville has been doing great lately. They were able to just give different looks to Trevor Lawrence all day and just make him question all of his decisions. On the other side of the ball, Josh Allen is the best player in the playoffs right now. And the fact that they got Brandon Cooks was their lifeline. He was the only big playmaker that they had, and he's only been there since the trade deadline, so half the season. So he doesn't really understand the full offense. He's still on the sideline a little bit, but Josh Allen makes the plays that he needs to make. The one thing I am worried about is his health at the end of the day, because he takes shots. That's all he does. He's a bull in a china shop. And eventually, hopefully not, but something will pop up. And I'm hoping it doesn't.
For sure. I mean, if you told me Josh Allen was going to be able to carry that team to victory when James Cook has 15 attempts for 46 yards, 3.1 average run, like I would not have told you the Bills win that game if that's James Cook's stat line. So I was surprised to see Josh Allen be able to gut it out. And like I said, that's a legacy saver right there. I don't think you can question his legacy again.
49ers at Eagles.
Jalen Hurts. Okay. I'll let one of you
Here we
two
go.
have the floor.
Yeah, I was disappointed. I know what that offense is capable of because it's literally the same offense that we saw last year, except, yeah, the offensive line's a little banged up, whatever. They still have a phenomenal offensive line. That was just disappointing in general. I thought we were going to get a little bit more out of them. I thought they were going to figure it out, but they didn't. The 49ers defense isn't overwhelmingly oppressive like they have been in previous years, especially with the injuries that they've had between Bosa and Fred Warner. So I don't know. I expected more. We didn't get it. Nick Sirianni is still just the most unlikable person on the planet. So if his job's on the line, fine. Doesn't bother me in the least. I can't stand that guy. But
Him yelling at A.J. Brown is unreal.
oh, absolutely. And that, it's funny. We talked about this, or I talked about this last week. When you don't get these guys involved early, they make these mental mistakes. Now, they're professional wide receivers between him and Devontae Smith, and they both had some bad drops that are pretty uncharacteristic. And there's not really a lot of excuse for it. You're in the NFL, you got to make those plays. But I will say, when you spend all year with this weird, dysfunctional offense where you're not really throwing the ball, they missed out on some valuable reps all year. They never built that confidence. They didn't get that momentum. So when you're playing through a game with all this on the line and it's just run, dump off, run, dump off, run, dump off, and then you finally get a ball thrown to you at 150 miles an hour because Jalen Hurts is not the most kind passer in the NFL, yeah, sometimes that ball's going to slip through. You're not used to catching it. You caught half the amount of balls you did last year. So I shouldn't be surprised, but I am, and I'm sad. But
I'm gonna quote a great prophet.
Here we go.
He said, "If Jalen Hurts has to throw the ball to win this game, give me the 49ers."
Mm-hmm.
And that is exactly what we saw. Jalen Hurts had to throw the ball to win the game, and he was worse at throwing the ball than Jawan Jennings.
That was a dart. Let me tell you what. That was quite the ball. And also the catch by Christian McCaffrey over the shoulder was better than just about every other catch I saw.
Probably the best catch so far of the postseason. He was running down the right sideline. He was looking left above his shoulder, and he caught it over his right shoulder, not flipping. Like, that is insanely hard to do, and he's a running back. But yeah, Billy, I hate to admit it, you were right. Jalen Hurts was definitely the worst quarterback in the postseason, and it showed. They already fired their OC, so they really didn't blame him, unfortunately. They're definitely losing A.J. Brown this offseason.
Oh, for sure.
And that game just proved to me that the best player on the field was Christian McCaffrey. And
Certainly.
The 49ers just did whatever they could do to get him the ball, and it worked out really well for them.
I will say, obviously, on the injury update, we did lose George Kittle. He will be out probably a good chunk of next year as well. And that's if he, I'm sure at this point he's at least thinking about retirement. So that sucks. Obviously a great player. If you've watched any of the NFL documentaries or Hard Knocks, he's so fun to be around. He's a great guy. So sucks for that to happen. But that electrical substation right by the stadium,
dude, it is
takes no prisoners.
You're right, Dave.
Takes no prisoners.
Did you read the story? Jed York, as soon as he got injured, he grabbed a bottle of tequila from his suite, brought it down to George Kittle, and by the end of the game, that bottle of tequila was gone. So good on Jed York, the owner of the 49ers.
Yep. Yeah, I did see that. I love that for him. And I'll tell you what, I would pay thousands of dollars to drink a bottle of tequila with George Kittle. So putting that one on the bucket list. Maybe I can make that happen. Chargers at Patriots.
So I'm going to start off here. I'm going to do this for all of our fans, all of New England, and let's give you some context because you know what? Context matters. So the Chargers, they chose their matchup. They tanked the last game of the season versus the Broncos. The Patriots were frauds. They had an easy schedule, bunch of cupcakes. Well, on January 11th, 2026, the soft Chargers came to New England, and they got the spanking they asked for. So, Bill, I got a question for you. Does Justin Kaepernick, Herbert, does he suck?
No, Justin Herbert does not suck. I'll apologize on behalf of the Chargers to the New England Patriots fan base. You didn't get to see Superman. He didn't play well.
He looked like Helen Keller out there.
Hey, I gave you your time. You listen to me now. He did not play well. You didn't get to see Superman. But what that game just goes to show is exactly the MVP commentary that I mentioned last week. That player with that offensive line, don't listen to Chris Collinsworth. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He said that offensive line is holding up well. Yeah, they're holding up well when the Patriots rush 3, drop 8 into coverage. The Chargers have a tight end chipping. and the running back staying back in pass pro, how come he doesn't dump it off? Oh, because the running back is in pass protection. That's why he doesn't dump it off. The tight end is chipping. That's why he doesn't dump it off. You guys didn't get to see Superman. It's unfortunate. Justin Herbert did not play his best game. You won't catch me defending it like he did. He was, as they mentioned on the broadcast, seeing ghosts a little bit out there.
Wow, you admitted it. It's a big step for you.
Yep.
He was.
So does the
getting
MVP
under.
mean the most vulnerable player? Because when nothing's perfect, he's just
It's
broken.
it's a regular season award. When nothing's perfect, nothing was perfect for him all year. He went 11-6, 5-1 in the division. Not to mention what you just talked about. That one loss was purposely tanking. Justin Herbert didn't even play against the Broncos to get the Patriots, which, admittedly, I also thought was the easiest matchup.
But the
Good on you,
problem is
Patriots. You're not frauds. Good on you. You're not
you
frauds.
Thank you.
you still have
Means a
you
lot.
have a quarterback that we have to start talking about, is it the playoffs? Does he have something in his mind that's preventing him from playing well in the playoffs? Or is that just a sideline story that people are kind of making up? Because at this point, we've seen it a couple times now where, listen, I also like Justin Herbert. When he's playing well, I'm happy. But at the end of the day, what we have in that small sample size of him in the playoffs, it's not the same guy. And I don't know if it's situational or coaching or or nerves, but either way, it's not great.
Okay.
I would
You gotta
I,
give
I would agree. In that small sample size, I would agree it has not looked good. He has not looked great in the playoffs. I'm not arguing as such. But again, he needed to be Superman for them to win a game. He needed to be Superman for them to get a first down this entire season, and they wound up 11-6 making the playoffs. So you know what? I'm not ready for any conversation about him other than the fact that we do need to see him perform in the playoffs. I will be biting my nails a little bit more than I have been next year when we probably see the Patriots again in the playoffs. I I am a little bit nervous about Justin Herbert going into playoffs in future years. But what I'm not ready for is any conversation about this being Justin Herbert's fault solely. That team, everybody got to see the team that he has to play with. Everyone got to see the offensive line who can't block a fly. You have three people coming. It's, again, seven in pass protection, and if they run a stunt, then they get right by the center. That center ranked 41 out of 41 eligible centers.
I wish I was on a stunt
come
bike
on.
driving
It's
over
almost
the
like we
Grand
knew this was
Canyon.
coming. Okay, but you got to give, because I did not expect the Patriots to play like that. So what they ended up doing was the first quarter, the first few drives, they only rushed like three or four guys, and then they realized like, oh, we're not getting pressure. So then they started dialing up the pressures, and then I talk about like having a guy like Milton Williams back, having Spillane back. Gonzo, I'll eat my words. He played very, very good. He had no targets, no catches, any guy who was covering. The defense played out of their mind. Guys post game on the Chargers went up to Spillane and said, "We had no idea what you guys were doing." After the game, Herbert said, couldn't figure out what they're doing. John Harbaugh, coach, former quarterback, he said, "I could not figure out what they were doing." Like,
Jim
the,
Harbaugh.
yeah, the whole team was just inept. And then you got the offensive coordinator up in a booth not helping his quarterback.
Looking at a Burger King menu. I'll give you that. That offensive coordinator, he was fired this morning. And JMO, David, you've heard me talk about this a million times, but just for our fans, that offensive coordinator, I would light him on fire if I could. Obviously, that is kidding. It's a joke. This is all in good fun on
No,
a
you
podcast.
totally would.
It's not
This
real.
is Greg
But-
Giro Roman we are talking about
Yes,
for anybody who doesn't follow along.
He was looking at a Burger King menu, might as well have been up in the box. He runs his play calls like he's reading them out of Mein Kampf. Like, come on.
That's aggressive.
Justin Herbert was set up. I said it last week. He plays 1 on 21. Everybody on his own team is actively fighting against him. Now you have people, Monday morning quarterback watching the All-22s talking about, oh, Let McConkey was open on this play. Yeah, when Justin Herbert was 5 yards past the line of scrimmage because he had to scramble. Like, come on. I don't know. I don't know about you. I'm not ready to say this was Justin Herbert's fault. Again, I'll be nervous next year in the playoffs. He has had three of his worst statistical games in the playoffs. So I'm ready to have that conversation. I'm not ready to have any other conversation about Justin Herbert.
I think the Patriots threw a lot of, obviously, a lot of different looks very fast, bringing pressure. Was it zone? Was half of it zone? Was half of it man? Was all of it man? Like, they didn't know. And the Patriots did a good job of disguising it.
So I'll ask you a question, David. Are you ready to say Matthew Stafford's the MVP?
Yeah, it's a regular season award.
Yeah. All Lifetime Achievement Award, right? Is that what they called
That's
it?
convenient. That's convenient because every Patriots fan was saying when Matt Stafford threw one interception in that game and didn't look good after he slammed his hand on a helmet. Every Patriots fan was saying, "Oh, is this your MVP?" Just to watch Drake May play like that. I mean, I'll give
Drake
him a little
May
break. It was his
said
first playoff game.
he didn't play well. So, by context, I will say he didn't play well. Matt
Oh,
Stafford
he said he
also.
didn't play well.
Yeah, he did after the game. He said that wasn't my best game, so I'll
I mean, you can
second
definitely
that.
give flowers to the Chargers defense. They played well. They have played well all year, so not the easiest feat. Good for them.
They were better than I thought, but I did think Ramondre Stevenson was going to have a big game, and he did. So they still, I mean, they bent not broke, you know. So that's
Yeah.
the defense they play. They play a heavy zone. They just keep the guys in front of them. Obviously, the closest guy to the line of scrimmage is going to be the running back. It's going to be an easy pitch and catch for like 5 yards, and you can't go broke taking a profit.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, more than half of his yards in that game came on Yak. I think it was something like
Well, yeah,
55% of his yards. And I'll also say my MVP doesn't have half as many 300 passing yard games as Tyler Shook.
Fun fact: Tyler Shook, the backup to Justin Herbert in college. If the math
That is a
feels like
fun
it's not
fact.
mathing, it's because you're right. Tyler Shook is 412 years old.
the problem with Herbert is as soon as he would hit the last step in his drop, he would
He
start
would get
running.
it.
And I thought I was watching Forrest Gump for a minute because he just kept running and running and running and running, and it didn't matter who was in front of him. He just lowered his shoulder and just played running back for almost a half. Did you see that? It was
Yeah.
almost a half. He did not throw a single yard. That
Can you
is crazy.
can you blame the guy who in the first
Yeah, I
half
could.
who in the first half had that has that offensive line, right? I've talked about that
It
100%.
was 3-3 at halftime.
Hang on.
Drake May was
Uh, I,
11 for
I'm
14 in
I'm
the second half.
Hey, grown-ups are talking here, Dave. Um,
Wow.
can you blame the guy who again had
I
his
can.
offensive line playing the way he did, had Keenan Allen just not go for
Yeah,
the ball
we
on that
told
touchdown
you
pass?
they sucked. And you're like, well, the Patriots are frauds. They played the Jets last week and the
I
Dolphins, so they haven't
again,
played a
again,
real offense. And
Justin Herbert had to be Superman. And
Run, Forrest, run.
I'm used to him being Superman because usually he is. And he wasn't. I've already said that part. But when you have our running backs combining for 12 carries for 30 yards, that's
yeah,
not a
that's
mistake.
what
That's
Milton Williams
12 for
does.
30 yards, 2.5 yards per carry. And then you have Keenan Allen just literally not going up for the ball in the end zone. Like, that was a touchdown. And honestly,
Yeah,
that's
wicked
the
on fourth
game.
down. That was a great call. I love the call
That's
before
the
that, too, that quarterback power.
But that's the game. That's the game. If Keenan Allen reaches up and catches that ball,
Ifs.
like of course, I'm
Bits
not.
and butts were
Again,
candies and nuts.
I said Justin Herbert didn't play well. I'm just
Good.
saying the ball was catchable. What was Keenan Allen thinking? He just throws his or keeps his hands by his side and doesn't even like go for it.
Third and Keenan. You know, Herbert was more
Oh,
lost than you driving in New Ipswich.
Oof. Shout out New Ipswich.
real ones will get that one.
Yeah,
That's true.
that's pretty bad. Billy can't find his way out of a paper bag in the
Well,
town he grew up in.
there's only one road that goes through it, too. You can only go one way or another, but you get that on the big jobs. Texans at Steelers.
Well, you guys weren't able to watch this, and quite frankly, I don't blame you. This game was ugly. No team wanted to win, which is bold to say in a playoff game. Both offenses were just struggling to get anything going. And you think the Texans, like, the final score doesn't indicate how that game went. It was 7-6 for 90% of that game. And CJ Stroud did his best Justin Herbert impersonation. He fumbled it 5 times, and he lost 2 of them. 3 of them were shotgun snaps that bounced off his hands or off his chest. Just totally inept. Just looked like like the first half they looked like a team that came from Texas in a dome, and they went out to the cold, and they just weren't prepared offensively to play that great quote-unquote Steelers defense, which has been awful all year. So I am not impressed with either of these teams.
Yeah,
He still had a better quarterback rating than Drake May did this weekend.
Are you sure? 62.4 versus Drake May's 68.8?
Maybe I'm looking at passer rating, but I see 86.7 to 86.
Because Drake May led his team in rushing. That's pretty crazy. That's hard to do, especially against
Herbert did too, really for the record.
Yeah, 3 points.
Well, to get us back on track to talk about the amazing Texans versus Steelers.
Back to the Texans.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was a little bit sleepy, so I was not staying up for that game. When I turned on my phone and I saw the final score the next morning, I wasn't surprised, but I was surprised to look at it and see that Christian Kirk had the game that he had.
Shout out Stephen A.
Brother. I was pretty surprised to see that. He had, 8 catches for 144 yards and a touchdown. And then I saw, at some point Nico Collins got hurt and is now being evaluated for a concussion, didn't come back in. But good for Kirk for stepping up.
He pogo ride off his head, so that was really crazy to watch. I don't think he will play next week. And then, obviously, Christian Gonzalez is in concussion protocol. That didn't look half as bad as I thought Nico Collins got seriously hurt.
Yeah, so it's somebody on the team had to catch it, and they have some solid wide receivers and a couple good rookies coming up out of Iowa State. Shout out to them. Iowa State, one of them. I think it's Iowa. I'm pretty sure it's Iowa.
I think it was Iowa State.
Maybe it was Iowa State. Anyway, they've got some good receivers there. But I was surprised talking to you afterwards, David. You were like, yeah, that box score is not what the game actually was. And going back and seeing the play-by-play and the all-22, I'm like, oh, you ain't kidding. It was not fun to watch. That was gross.
There's a reason why Tomlin, quote-unquote, resigned. Right? We should say he got probably fired, and they were like, let's make this appealing, so you can just resign. That team gave up, and it really showed after the first fumble. Nobody even wanted to pick up that ball. Even when the Texans did, nobody touched the guy on the ground. And then the next drive for them, Rodgers throws a pick, and the only guy trying to tackle the ball carrier is Aaron Rodgers, and that's pathetic. That's a Hall of Fame quarterback, and you're just hanging him out to dry like that. The whole team quit at that point, and I think that's reflective of how they feel about the head coach.
Yeah, I think this game's going to be landmarked as the end of 2 eras, right? It's the Mike Tomlin era. I think a lot will remember it fondly. Those who have a good memory will remember it as 9-8 Merchant and maybe 9-7 Merchant before the 17th game was added. And then the end of the era that we talked about last week, the quarterback from our childhood, the end of Aaron Rodgers. Maybe he comes back next year. I don't think he's coming back to the Steelers. I think his post-game comments suggest that he won't. I don't know if he comes back to the NFL in any capacity. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I don't think so. If I did, maybe you could be hopeful, but I don't think that it's reasonable because I just don't think that he can produce. Although Phillip Rivers is doing it at 44, so what do I know?
I would love to see it, not for the Steelers, unless they have some crazy offensive guru for a coach. I would personally like to see him a Viking, which is kind of following the whole Brett Favre trajectory, but they need decent quarterback play. KOC's insanely smart. They got the weapons. They got the line. It would be a great end to his career if he succeeded at least one more time.
I just don't want to see Justin Jefferson have to go through that again with a healthy season, getting the looks and targets that he got. Only 33% of his targets were uncatchable. That means 3 out of 10, 3 out of 9 that you're getting. it's literally not even something that you can catch. And then whatever is left over is like, barely catchable, if that, on top of the fact that, you are not exactly, I mean, sure, you have some weapons around you if you want to count Jordan Addison opening up the field for you, but like people are still keying in on you. You are Justin Jefferson. You are one of the best receivers in the league, and your quarterback can't get you the ball. When he does, it's a bad look. I don't know. I don't want to see that happen to him again. That just makes me mad. So if Aaron Rodgers is what it takes to get him back to superstar, sure, I don't care. Anything for that man.
Did you guys see the Eli Manning quote about Slant Boy 2.0?
Oh no.
No.
He was obviously him and Peyton were doing their Monday night review, and he mentioned that DK Metcalf runs three total routes on any given play. He's running a slant, a go, or I think it was an out and up. I don't have the quote in front of me, but it's three routes that DK runs. So if you're any team watching tape, I mean,
Yeah. I
you
hate that
have
he
to be
says it,
able
but I
to
can't argue
get
with
that.
it. Like, I love DK. He's such a beast, but that's true, unfortunately.
As promised, we're gonna follow up with any picks we made, including the picks, props, and parlays later on, as well as the picks we made straight up for the games. And just so you can follow along and either tail us or fade us if you bet, always bet responsibly. So far after the wild card round, we have Jeremiah in first with a 5-1 record. He only missed the Eagles at 49ers. He had picked the Eagles.
Let's
And
go.
Dave, Grok, and I are all tied at 3-3.
Nice. 500, baby.
And now we're going to discuss the upcoming divisional round games.
Bills at Broncos.
Bills at Frauds. Whoever drew the Broncos this week was going to the AFC Championship game. That defense is legit, but Bo Nix,
Bo
he is
Nix.
awful. So I said Jalen Hurts and Bryce Young were competing for the worst quarterback in the playoffs. Bo Nix is right there too. Aaron Rodgers, unfortunately, are right there, and Bo Nix is the definition of a game manager, and not even a good one. I I predict Josh
Ouch.
Allen to absolutely put the team on his back once again. And Bo Nix, you need to throw the ball to win the game, and he won't be able to throw the ball to win the game. This is the second time I'm making that statement, week two of a podcast, and I mean it just as much this time as I meant last week.
That's rough. I think, you know what? I agree that Bo Nix is a game manager. However, I think he's a pretty solid game manager. I think that he can do his job well. They have a good defense. That's what makes the team good. So he makes some good reads. He throws the ball in his little dump routes and some out routes. And, every once in a while he'll throw it deep. I think he does just enough. And I think he could give the Bills fits. I don't necessarily think that he's going to, but I think that everything revolves around that defense, and I really do think that they can keep it close. And here's the thing: although Bo Nix likes to throw his little dump offs, he also does have the ability to throw it deep every now and then. And the receivers that he has there, it's kind of interesting. You have Cortland Sutton, who has played well for the last couple of years, but recently this season hasn't been the same guy. His contested catch rate is way down. But you have seen the emergence of Troy Franklin, and he's been able to catch some balls down the sideline. Nothing from Marvin Mims this year, really, at all, which I don't quite understand. But they do still have options. They have Evan Ingram now. And not that he's the Evan Ingram of old catching, PPR monster, right? But he's still there and doing something. And all these guys are people who can make big plays. So even though Bo Nix can't necessarily make the big play, he's got people around him that can. So I think there's at least a possibility there that something goes a little bit differently than you think for these frauds.
Yeah, I think it's definitely possible for the Broncos to squeak this out. They just played the 49ers recently, and it was an absolute shootout. So it does prove that Bo Nix can play against elite defenses. yeah, that was 30-9. So I guess a shootout was just one-decided. I don't think Bo Nix is as bad as Billy says. He's definitely still. It's his second year. Well, in the NFL, he has like 10 years in college. But what does scare me is
Should be a doctor.
yeah, doctor or lawyer. The Bills are made for the playoffs. There's no
Yeah.
ifs, ands, or buts about that. They play the Chiefs enough to figure out like a great game plan and build a team that can travel and control the clock. And I think the Bills are going to be able to edge it out. And I mean, I gave McDermott a lot of shit last podcast, but he did surprise me with how well he had that defense playing against Trevor Lawrence, and I think it's going to continue to Bo Nix, and I just think he's too young to see all these complex schemes he's going to be looking at Sunday.
Can I bring up that Broncos 49ers game that you talked about?
Sure. It's your
It was
podcast.
preseason week 1. Bo Nix was 6 for 11 for 31 yards. Jared Stidham, shout out Jared
Shout out
Stidham,
Stiddy.
fans, threw for 2 touchdowns. Sam Ellinger threw for 1 touchdown. So I don't know if that's the game you were meaning to
Hook 'em
reference. But
horns.
that was the game that shows up when I look up Broncos 49ers, and it was 30-9.
It totally wasn't.
Oof. Who doesn't love a good little preseason? Just so you know, Bill, your boy Trey Lance is an absolute fiend in the preseason. That boy can run. I think you're gonna be happy to know that you have him on your bench. You just don't know it yet.
Bad luck. It was the Packers who just lost.
Oof.
But
That's
that
even
was the
worse.
shootout I was talking about. That was an exciting game. It was back and forth.
Yep, I remember that
And
now.
the Broncos did just enough to win, and Bo Nix had himself a day. And that was when
Good at it. He did.
yeah,
Yeah.
he played against Micah Parsons that game. That's the game he actually got hurt. But I mean, he had 4
That's right.
touchdowns. Cortland Sutton had a great game. But like I said, I think the Bills, they don't have the talent everywhere, but they hopefully have the brain power to muddy it up a lot what the Patriots did to the Chargers.
Oof. Another shot. I love that for you.
I heard a lot in the past like 5 years.
That's true. We have been going at it quite a bit. It's nice to see when we finally get matchups like this. 49ers at Seahawks.
This is going to be, I think, the game of the week. Obviously, it's a divisional game for them. They are rivals, so they do know each other pretty well. I think the 49ers are just a little too banged up at this point to win, but I think it will be close enough that it'll be a good game. The Seahawks have Clint Kubiak, who is a great offensive mind as their
Coobs.
offensive coordinator. They do have
Who?
Jackson Smith and Jigba, who did he lead the NFL in receiving yards, or is that
I think
Puka?
Puka did.
Yeah, so he was second. He still had a really good year. They got a lot
Phenomenal
of
year.
guys that are making noise as far as like Shaheed. That was a great addition. He's been making a lot of plays. So, yeah, Jeremiah, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, I like the team because I feel like the game plan is simple, right? You're putting the ball in JSN's hands, and that's it. And it doesn't really need to be any more than that because it's working. The defense is playing very well, which I did not see happening this year. It's not really something that I expected, but the defense is playing phenomenal. And the offense, again, it runs through JSN, and Sam Darnold has been making the plays to keep that going. I mean, there's not a whole lot else there. You've got AJ Barner at tight end, who is surprisingly making some plays and being a red zone threat, but outside of that, there's nothing. Cooper Kupp, which was a fun thing to watch and happen in the offseason, but honestly, he hasn't really done anything for them, and not that any of us really expected him to. So there's just not a lot of other options there. As far as the run game goes, they have like a discount version of what's going on in Detroit with Zach Charbonnet and Ken Walker. Ken Walker's super explosive, but it seems like every time he touches the ball, he's trying to go east and west and not north and south. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. He can certainly make a lot of people miss, but at the same time, he can really kill some drives with his loss of yards. And then Zach Charbonnet can get it done in the red zone, and that's what he's proven. But between the 20s, he's really just not that effective of a back. But between the two of them, they kind of get it done as the game requires. And then outside of that, you're thrown to an absolute juggernaut at wide receiver. So they keep it simple, and with a game plan like that, it's not too hard to follow up. I don't see the 49ers being able to stop that connection. And on the flip side, I don't see the 49ers offense being able to really pick apart the Seahawks defense because most people haven't been able to do that. So I think it's going to be it's fun. It, like you said, anything can happen in a divisional game like this, but I think it's going to be the Seahawks, and I don't think it's going to be very close. Bill?
Yeah, I tend to agree. I was this full representative who picked the 49ers to win last week. I won't be doing that again. Spoiler alert. David, I also owe you an apology. It was JSN who led the league in yards. I was thinking receptions, which was Puka.
Thank you.
But what's crazy to think about with that is that's JSN with Sam Darnold throwing him the ball, not the MVP.
Put some respect on Sam Darnold. It's about time.
Again, I didn't say Sam Darnold was awful. I just said he's not the MVP.
I'll put regular
Puka has
season
thrown
respect
the ball.
on him. I won't put. Last year in the playoffs, it fell apart for him, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it happen again. So I'd really like to see it out. I want to see it happen, but last year was a little dicey after having, 13 wins, 14 wins last season, and he couldn't get it done in the playoffs. So hopefully this goes a little different, but we'll see.
Yeah, I kind of teased it last week when I said I think the both 1 and 2 seeds in the AFC and NFC are semi-fraudulent. Unfortunately, I think the Seahawks drew a pretty easy matchup with how banged up the 49ers are. So I do have them winning this game, but I agree with your regular season assessment. I don't trust the Seahawks until I really see them turn it on. Yeah, I'm interested to watch this game, but I do kind of think it's going to be a little Seahawks domination.
Texans at Patriots.
Texans, next game.
No. We're not doing that. I think we know who the winner is going to be. Listen, you didn't watch last night. CJ Stroud was not good. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be snowing Sunday. I pray to God we're going to have some New England weather to influence this game. Because you have a dome team that lives in Texas coming to New
Oh yeah,
England.
Drake May, historically from the cold weather climate of Carolina.
Believe it or not, the
practices-
Carolinas are 2 states.
But he practices outside every day. CJ Stroud's
now?
practicing, in Houston. It's called thickening blood. But
I'm not
anyways,
convinced CJ Stroud is practicing, but go on.
if the Patriots have another great defensive performance that was almost Belichickian by Vrabel and company, I don't think the Texans have a chance, and I don't really see them scoring on the defense. And then, obviously, it's going to be a defensive battle each way, but I think the Patriots have enough to edge it out offensively, where if Nico Collins doesn't play, Gonzo plays, and then they keep doing what they're doing on defense, I don't see how the Texans are going to be able to put up enough points to win.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw Patriots fans getting cute talking about Will Campbell not playing that well against Khalil Mack.
He was awful.
Oh, that's so rich.
The left side of the line wasn't
Everybody
that good.
blames Justin Herbert, but Will Campbell plays 10 times better than anyone on the Chargers line. Anyway.
He
This
gave
is
up like
Texans
12
at Pa-
pressures.
This is Texans at Patriots. Again, okay, Herbert was pressured on 30 out of 44 dropbacks. Okay, next question. This is Texans at Patriots. Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson. I brought them up last week.
I mean, Danielle.
They are going to wreak, not Danielle. They are going to wreak havoc on the Patriots offensive line if they couldn't hold it. I love the
I thought
Chargers,
that
as
last
everyone
night.
knows.
I thought that against the Steelers, I thought this defense was going to manhandle that terrible offense, and they just didn't do it. It was pretty crazy to watch.
Yeah, I mean,
they had
four
a
sacks on
pick
Rodgers,
six and
right?
gave up
But
like nothing.
Yeah, but the sacks that they had was deep shots, Aaron Rodgers. It was just long
Yeah,
developing
holding
plays,
on.
and they're just trying to
Yeah.
take shots where obviously you can't do that. They just didn't have the offense to just like pluck away and like just gate yards. But
I
I
mean,
don't know, I
Drake
can
May
just see
holds
the
on to the ball pretty long.
yeah, that was his post game. He said, "I need to get rid of the ball. I can't let my offensive line down by holding onto the ball that long." So
And
I
he's going to
think
know that going against these guys. So,
yeah,
I don't think that they're going to go into it with this idea of long developing plays, and even when they draw up play action, they're going to make sure that they're getting the ball out. I do want to shout out Daniil Hunter. I have a man crush on him. He just the way that he plays, he is so solid. He has been forever. Nobody ever talks about him, right? Like his name is never brought up, but I mean, he's got 114 and a half career sacks, and he's 31 years old. Like
Yeah, he's a baller.
he is legit, and I love watching him play. He's a beast. But as scary as that defense looks, I think they do play really well. But I think that the Patriots are going to have more deep shot opportunities than they did against the Chargers to kind of open things up a little bit. So and especially seeing what happened, like you said, against the Steelers, it was not the onslaught that it could have been. So I think that I could see this game being close, but I think there's at least blowout potential, and really only on the Patriots side because when the Texans don't typically start fast, and I don't think that they're going to miraculously do that against the Patriots. So I just don't really see a world where the Texans could blow out the Patriots. So I think it's either going to be close or it's going to be the Patriots running away with it.
what
Yeah,
does scare me? You can go, Bill.
I was gonna say I was too busy making a Ouija circle trying to get Greg Roman fired. So I didn't hear that Drake May post game press conference. I think that was that's great to hear out of him. I will
He's
just
a
say
humble
that
guy.
Rodgers historically gets the ball out so quick. So you say that the 4 sacks came on long developing plays. Those might have been the only 4 long developing plays that they
I mean, it
had.
probably was, but
Because he gets the ball out so quick. Whereas Drake May, I feel like to do much, like I'll give him his flowers here for a second. He's a great deep ball quarterback. You know what you need to be a great deep ball quarterback is time. Every highlight video I see of him, he's got this clean pocket. And he just sits in there, other than that one throw that everyone likes to throw back. So I do worry about him against this Texans defense that's not going to give him that time to get any of those deep shots through. Obviously, there are going to be plays here and there, but I just mean it's not going to be a regular occasion like it has been.
what scares me about this game is the Texans have a lot of former Patriots on staff. Their GM, Nick Caserio, was Bill Belichick's right-hand guy as a GM for quite a while. Nick Caserio, their offensive coordinator, was the Patriots tight end coach under McDaniels for quite a while. Josh McDaniels' brother is the wide receivers coach for the Texans. And then they have about 3 or 4, maybe even 5 former Patriots like on their current roster. So they're going to have the wherewithal to know what the Patriots are doing at what time in the game. So that is not something that's ideal, but I'm hoping that McDaniel's time off he had last year where he studied colleges, systems throughout the whole league, and he kind of went to multiple training camps to pluck people's minds about like just offensive football. I hope that pays off for this game and he just introduces something slightly new, a new wrinkle, a new look, just something different to fight the norm of what the Texans are going to prepare for.
Yeah, quick note on that. You said Nick Caserio twice. It's Nick Caley, the offensive coordinator. But yes, another guy that came from the Patriots system. And I think, you're definitely right. They are going to have the Patriots numbers a little bit. I mean, they're going to have an idea of what's going on and what they're going to try and do. So,
I think Nick Caserio is in that front office, though, right, Dave?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
Nick
he's
Caserio's
their
in the front
current
office.
GM.
Right, it's the offensive coordinator's Nick Caley.
Yeah.
Right. I think that, the Patriots are definitely going to have to come up with a legitimate game plan. They can't just roll in there and Come up with this might work. A couple random plays here and there, run deep, I'll throw it to you. No, they're definitely going to have to come with a wrinkle, but I think that they have the ability to do that. I'm interested to see on the defensive side how they are going to stop, because the Texans have actually become balanced with their run game, which is crazy to think about because at the beginning of the season, we thought Joe Mixon was going to be kind of healthy and then has not played a single snap for them all year, which is crazy. So then they had 74-year-old Nick Chubb back there and a rookie in Woody Marks that nobody's ever heard of. Nick Chubb was getting some carries, but eventually they started leaning on Woody Marks, and he has been playing really, really well for them. Over 100 rushing yards last game against the Steelers, and he brings that balance. So it'll be interesting to see how the Patriots are able to stop that, because the Patriots are very good at locking down the number one option for a team, whether it be a running back, a tight end, a wide receiver. But when you're built balanced like this, it makes it a little bit more difficult. So that's the matchup that I'm interested to see more than anything else, is how the Patriots defense is going to stack up against this offense.
Yeah, if they took a similar game plan to what they did against the Chargers, they pretty much manned up the three wide receivers. They felt confident in their ability. Marcus Jones, Carlton Davis, Gonzo. Those are three stud cornerbacks. I don't see the Texans wide receivers being able to get a whole lot of separation if CJ Stroud is under pressure, if they kind of copy a similar game plan.
Yeah. It was Iowa State for Jaden Higgins and Jalen Knoll. Two guys that are going to have to step up, especially if Nico Collins isn't playing, because Christian Kirk isn't going to be able to do it all. But between those two rookies, they're talented. They have the ability, but they haven't gotten a lot of snaps. Jaden Higgins got some more towards the end of the season. You'd see a little bit of flashy plays now and then from Jalen Knoll, but I mean, this is a playoff game. This is a big deal. So those rookies are going to really have to calm their nerves and step up to play well against, like you said, these very solid corners. So that might be the crux in the offense. And if they're able to shut them down and commit four guys to getting after CJ Stroud and that running game, I think that it could be bad news bears for the Texans. Rams at Bears. I'm excited about this matchup. I think this is going to be one of the better matchups on the slate. The Bears seem to just keep... Now, here's the thing, right? As we talked about before, the Bears are able to play well at the end of games and come back and ride this momentum and whatever. If the Rams go up big early, I think that they learn their lesson against the Panthers, and they're not going to pull their foot off the gas. If they get up early, they are going to keep playing hard because they know what this Bears team is capable of. So I don't think there's going to be any tricks to be had there. If the Rams get off to a hot start, it's going to be over. But I don't necessarily think that's going to happen because the Bears defense has been playing pretty well. So it'll take a bit of time to figure that out. I think it'll be fun to watch how the offenses play. I think it should be a shootout, right? Like, that's the idea. Vegas has the over-under for the game going at 50.5 points. I hope that's what we get, because a defensive battle between these two teams is going to be a snooze fest, and that's not what I want to see. But I'm excited about it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a defensive battle. If Jordan Love put up 4 touchdowns on the Bears defense, I'm just excited to see what my MVP can do. You know, Dave?
Yeah, he's going to get a lot of 2-yard passing touchdowns.
It's always a possibility with Devontae Adams on the team.
Yeah.
Hey,
so
they all count the same.
I do agree with JMO. I think it's going to be a shootout as well, and whoever I think runs the ball the best is going to win this game, because contradictory is when you're high flying and you're trying to score points, you got to control the clock, and whoever's going to be able to control the clock and run the ball and just grind the W, they're going to pull out this game. And I think it's the Bears, but you never know. The Rams are really good. Ben Johnson is also really good on the other end. So it's just an exciting matchup that I really don't know what to think at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah,
think the Rams have Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. I don't think them being able to control the run game is that big of an issue.
yeah, you're probably right. And on the Bears side, obviously, seeing that resurgence in DeAndre Swift and then also Kyle Monangai doing what he's able to do. Either team is capable of it, right? So we'll see which team actually does it or chooses to do it.
Without further ado, let's go game by game and give you our picks. So first we have the Bills at Broncos. Dave,
I have the Bills.
Jama.
Yeah, it's the Bills for me.
Bill also has the Bills, and Grok picked the Broncos. Next game we have 49ers at Seahawks. Dave,
Seahawks.
Jamo.
Seahawks.
I also have the Seahawks, and Grok calls it for clean sweep. Next game is Texans at Pats. Dave,
No, I'm just kidding. Patriots all the way.
Yeah, give me Drake May. I'll go with the Patriots.
Drake Cupcake schedule May. I see the Texans pulling this game out, and so does Grok. Next
Oh my
game,
God, grow up.
Rams at Bears. Dave, who do you have?
Kills me because the Rams were my Super Bowl pick, but last week scares me a lot. But the Bears scare me too, so I don't know. I'm going to pick the Bears, though.
That's funny. It scares me because I love this Bears team and I want to see these guys in this group win a Super Bowl. With that being said, I'm going with the Rams.
I have the Rams too. Again, if Jordan Love put up 4 touchdowns, I don't know what the MVP is doing. And Grok has the Bears.
Bears.
So next we're gonna go into the PPP segment, picks, props, and parlays. Because what else does an all-male podcast need if not more PPs? As a reminder, we are using the DraftKings Sportsbook odds at the time of recording. That is Tuesday, the 13th of January. And each host, as well as our good friend Artificial Intelligence, has 5 units to bet. At least 1 unit needs to be on a parlay of 3 legs or more. The remaining 4 units may be spread as each host sees fit. We'll track each host's performance throughout the week so you can bet with or fade each of our bets as you see fit. As always, please bet responsibly. Now, before we go into this week's bets, we will provide an update on last week's bets. So similar to the game record, Jeremiah is in first place. If you went along with him and tailed his bets, he started with 5 units, and he's ending the week at 8.21.
Suck it, nerds.
As a quick run through those bets were Jalen Coker
You live
over
for this.
37.5. That hit. Christian Watson and Colson Loveland over 125 combined. That hit. Blake Corum over 9.5 rushing attempts. That hit. Josh Hines Allen over a quarter of a sack. That hit. And his parlay did not hit, which was Purdy over 20.5 completions. Juwan Jennings over 3.5
Yikes.
receptions. And Saquon under 14.5 yards, receiving yards.
I'll take it.
And next is David. So David, if you started and tailed his bets, beginning with 5 units, would have wound up with 2.03 units. So that's right.
Woof.
Every single one of our hosts and
Yeah.
Grok was negative on the week.
Buzz, your girlfriend. Woof.
So David had Rico Dowdle over 50 rushing yards.
Not
That one
good.
missed.
That's it.
Eagles money line. That missed.
Woof.
Ramondre Stevenson over 40 rushing yards. That hit.
Yes.
Hey.
Drake. And then his parlay of Drake, May, over 26 rushing yards. Herbert over 30 rushing yards. Diggs over 6 receptions. And Butte over 3 receptions. That missed on the receptions mark. In third place is our good friend Artificial Intelligence Grok. So if you started and tailed all his bets, you would have started with 5 units and ended with 1.88 units. His bets were Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown, that missed. Nico Collins anytime touchdown, that missed. Kyron Williams 70 plus rushing yards, that missed. Saquon Barkley 82 plus rushing yards, that hit. And then a parlay of Rams minus 10.5, Jags money line, Eagles minus 5.5, and Nico anytime touchdown. Amazingly, all 4 of those legs missed. Last,
And yet somehow behind that robot is you.
if you were betting alongside me, you would have started with 5 units, and you'd be thanking whatever deity you worship that you get 5 more units this week. because I ended with 0 units. I lost 4 units on Chargers alternate line of -6.5, and then my parlay missed, which was Rams money line, Herbert 25 plus rushing, and then Keenan. So we can talk about this one real quick. Keenan Allen, I had at 4 plus receptions. The thought process was there. He had 3 receptions and 3 drops, which does
One
not even
bad drop.
include
Yeah.
which does not even include the one that I mentioned earlier, where he just didn't even put his hands up.
Yikes.
So now we're gonna go into this week's bets. JMO, what PPs do you have your eyes on today?
The PPs that I have my eyes on are as follows. So I am once again ready to be hurt by Jawan Jennings. He did not hit his over for me in the parlay, but I am going to go after it again. Jawan Jennings over 3.5 receptions for -162. They don't have George Kittle anymore. And I don't think that for 2 games in a row, Jawan Jennings is just going to be sitting on the sideline and or throwing touchdowns for some reason. So give me the over on 3.5 receptions. I also have an over on 1.5 receptions for Travion Henderson. I have a hard time seeing a world where those defensive ends are crashing down on Drake May and they don't hit some dump offs to the running backs. So Travion Henderson just needs to catch 2 of those balls, and we're getting paid on that. That's -128. And sticking with the theme of over on receptions, because life's too short to hit the under is what all my friends say to me. Over 4.5 catches for Colston Loveland in this game against the Rams. I think that, he's been on fire. He's been their best pass catcher, period. Everybody else on that team, you can kind of intermingle the wide receiver, choose who you want, whatever, it doesn't matter. Colston Loveland has been consistent. That's who I'm picking here at -150. My last and final singular bet is going to be Rams and Bears under 25.5 points for the first half at -105. And the reason that I like this is because
Boo, under, boo.
as we talked about, the Chicago Bears take a while to get going. They love to play towards the end of the game. The second half, that's their bread and butter. I also don't think that I think the Rams are going to have a little bit of a hard time figuring out that defense early in the game, and they'll make their adjustments. They've got one of the best coaches in the league. But to start off the game, I see each team trying to figure each other out. So I like the under 25.5 total points to start off that game in the first half. My parlay is going to be another 3-pick parlay. I've got the Seahawks money line. I feel pretty good about that. We've covered it. Over 1.5 field goals made by Kaimi Fairbairn. Kai Fairbairn's a really good kicker. He has been for a while. I see New England stopping Houston quite a bit, especially near the goal line. And I think that they're going to try and take the points where they can get them. They have a good kicker. They know what they have there. And I think that this game could be close. So I like the over 1.5 field goals from Kai Fairbairn. And then I chose an alternate spread for the Bears. Bears at +7.5. I still think the Rams are gonna win this, and I believe the spread was at maybe 3.5, 4.5, something like that. And to be honest, I think Chicago can keep it within a field goal. I think that's perfectly reasonable, especially playing a home game. So if you have the courage, unlike me, to bet that, then go ahead and do it. I wanted to give myself a little bit of extra space by using that alternate spread of 7.5 points, so it gives them a touchdown to play with. Again, I think the Rams are going to win, but I think the Bears are going to keep it close. So there's my 3-pick parlay at +229.
My picks are my first unit will be Brandon Cooks over 26 receiving yards at -111. I think he is their only option other than Shakir at wide receiver. Who was it? He just tore his ACL again. Gabe Davis, that is.
Yep.
So the Buffalo Bills, they're running really low on wide receivers. So Brandon
Shavers is
Cooks,
hurt
former
too, yeah.
Patriots, great. He should see over 26 yards. My second unit is Ramondre Stevenson over 40 yards rushing at -105. Same as last week, literally the same as last week. They have to run the ball to get this win, and Ramondre Stevenson's their guy. So I like that a lot. My third unit is the 49ers covering the spread at +7.5 at -105. I think if they don't win, it's going to be close. I think they edge it out, but regardless, I think that's a good bet. And my fifth unit is my parlay. It is all Patriots because that's what I know. That's all I watch. So we can go Drake May plus 32 rushing yards, Ramondre Stevenson plus 21 receiving yards, and then I have the Patriots covering the spread.
Okay. So moving on to my bets. I have a fun one right out the gate. So I don't know. This is a little deep in the prop bet world. I have Kenneth Walker race to 80. So for those of you who don't know, that means it's Kenneth Walker against any other player in that game. Who is going to get, so the Seahawks 49ers game, who's going to get to 80 rushing yards first? So somebody needs to get there, and he needs to be the first to get there. That's plus 337. I have 1 unit on that. I have Bills money line. I have 1 unit on that at minus 108. I have Texans money line, 1 unit on that, and the odd is plus
Ooh.
136. I have Woody Marks over 17.5 rushing attempts because I think they're going to be playing with the lead. I have that at minus 106, and my parlay is Bills. It's a same game parlay. Bills money line, Josh Allen anytime touchdown, Josh Allen over 37.5 rushing yards, and Bo Nix under 213.5 passing yards for that absolute fraud. And on to artificial intelligence. Let's see if it can beat me 2 weeks in a row. With 1 unit, it has Josh Allen over 219.5 passing yards. Christian McCaffrey over 59.5 rushing yards, plus 108. CJ Stroud under 220.5 passing yards at minus 111. Kyron Williams, anytime touchdown scorer. And then a parlay of Josh Allen over 219.5 passing yards, Christian McCaffrey over 59.5 rushing yards, and Kyron Williams, anytime touchdown at plus 723. JMO, I believe you might have had a disclaimer for us.
Yeah, it was made apparent to me by my wife, to make sure that everybody knows these are just our opinions. There are no guarantees here. Please bet at your own risk. Nothing that we say is guaranteed by any means. So please, as we say, bet responsibly. If it doesn't go your way, it's probably not the first time in your life that you're going to be called a loser, okay? Get over it. Please don't sue us, all right? We can't afford to lose this podcast. We have tens of dollars sunken into it. So just keep that in mind when you're using your play money or kids' college fund. Either way, we are not responsible for what happens with your bets unless you win and you want to give us some.
Yeah, I think that's fair, and especially after the two bad beats we had last week. So I already mentioned the Keenan Allen one, which I know some people had bet on the side as well. And then there was the Chuba Hubbard, which we actually brought up on the podcast and talked about. That was a bad beat too because a drop sealed that for the two. He had an easy screen pass that would have made
that would have hit the over. Yeah, unfortunately.
So apologies to anyone who listened to our absolutely sound advice that unfortunately real life happened to. So on to the next segment. This next segment is just like that store in the mall that Stuart from Letterkenny would want to live in. Here's Hot Topics. Not sponsored. What do you guys have for a hot topic today?
Yeah, so as far as hot topics go, I mean, let's go back to the coaching carousel, right, and see what's going on there. The whole league is kind of figuring out what they want to do for next year. Little update, we have people like David Blau is going to be the offensive coordinator for the Commanders. My favorite thing is the fact that Mike McDaniel's the former head coach for the Dolphins, and Dave talked about how much he likes how he runs his offensive schemes. He's put in an interview for like 7 or 8 teams. He's just like, yeah, I'll listen to what everybody has to say. I don't care. I'm not picky, right? Which is always great. I like to see that. I hate the people that are like, man, I only want to go here or here. So he's putting himself out there. But one of the things that they were talking about is bringing him into the Lions organization. And with Jahmyr Gibbs there, Amon-Ra St. Brown, I think that in general, like that could be so fun. Sam Laporta at tight end. Jameson Williams, who, I have different thoughts about it, but most people like him. I would love to see Mike McDaniels go to the Detroit Lions and play that game. So hot topic, for me, it's still these coaches and where they're going to end up and what those implications are, especially for fantasy football.
Yeah, you stole my thunder. My hot topic was also going to involve the carousel at some point. Obviously, today, Tomlin resigned, so that's another big name that somebody's going to go get. I can see him going. He'd be a great fit for the Raiders. They need sustainability.
I thought you were going to say the Ravens. Oh, my God.
But
did you hear the Ravens owner about that?
No.
Yeah,
So
he said
he
that'd
got
be a
told
great
live
fit.
on he got told live on press conference about Mike Tomlin firing, and he goes, holy
Oh,
expletive,
boy.
that's real. And then he said, how about we swap John for Mike Tomlin? So
Oh, good Lord.
so apparently there's some interest, at least from one
Yikes.
side there.
Sorry, David. Didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. But like you said, Mike McDaniel, I think these really talented coaches that got fired, if they go back to being OCs, they have the hot seat to be like they're gonna fast track their way back to the coaching. So like whatever team that we hate to say it, the Eagles, they have insane amount of talent. If you can get that team right and playing well again, like
And get a quarterback.
you have a real shot at becoming a head coach again. You said the Lions, that's another good example. Ben Johnson was there. If you replicate that success, then you have a shot at a head coach.
Okay, so my hot topic. I did have somebody tell me that my point in the podcast is just trying to get the Chargers mentioned at least 50 times. So I bet that over. So I'm gonna bring him up once again, but I'm gonna bring him up
Here we go.
with a little A/B testing here. So I have two players, their first six years of their career. Player one, 24,820 passing yards. Player two, 24,885 passing yards. Player one, 163 passing touchdowns. Player two, 167 passing touchdowns. Player one, 58 interceptions. Player two, 110 interceptions.
Oof.
I'll also say player one, 1,715 rushing yards and 15 touchdowns. Player two, 582 rushing yards and 9 touchdowns. Both players were 0-3 in their first 3 playoff games. One was 58 for 106 with 674 yards. This is player one. 2 touchdowns, 4 picks. Player two, 50 for 104 for 558 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. For those who might be wondering,
Give me player one.
is Justin Herbert.
Give me player two.
I would say much better overall stats than player two. Player two was a quarterback New England fans will be very familiar with, except he also was throwing to Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, with Edgerrin James running the ball. Player two is Peyton Manning. Justin
Omaha.
Herbert has preferable stats over his first 6 years, not with Marvin Harrison, a Hall of Fame wide receiver, not with Reggie Wayne, a Hall of Fame wide receiver, not with Edgerrin James, a great running back. And he has preferable stats over the first 6 seasons. So when
I'm glad
I get asked,
I'm glad you don't do hard drugs because you would be committed.
To say the least.
when somebody asked me earlier in this playoff, does Justin Herbert suck? I'll pose this question, David. Did Peyton Manning suck?
It was a different era. They did.
Yeah, I was about to say
They
that.
didn't exactly. They didn't throw as much as they do now. I mean, of course, the stats are going to be inflated. I don't see it the same way. I think that it's a different era issue there.
I mean, yards per attempt are 7.2 to 7.4. He was
guys
throwing
are-
the ball.
Totally different game. He played tougher defenses. The rules are different. Quarterbacks should actually get hit, not like your little
come
bop on the
on.
head. Oh my god, I need a penalty for
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Or your
did you see
intentional
that
grounding
high-low?
fumble.
That was a
Yeah,
that was
there's
an
no
incomplete pass.
unsportsmanlike conduct for roughing the passer because the body weight landed on the guy too hard back when
I'm
Payton
sorry.
was
Did you
slinging
see
it.
the high-low hit Herbert took Sunday night?
No,
Tell me that's not a hard a hit as anyone's taken.
it's not.
Dude, he got hit harder than Christian Barmore's girlfriend.
That was pretty rough.
Or Stephon Diggs' personal chef.
Hey, here
Allegedly.
we go again.
Tyreek Hill's
Like-
kids.
Yep.
My
We're gonna
dino
have to do this
nuggies weren't
episode.
cooked right.
We're gonna have to do this every episode.
I figured
Yeah.
I'd beat you to the punch. But that's bold to compare Herbert to.
I mean,
One
One of the
But-
greatest
stats are-
foreheads in the history of the NFL.
The stats are almost identical, other than interceptions, which again, Herbert had 58, Peyton had 110, and Peyton had inarguably better offensive weapons.
What was Peyton Manning's nickname?
The sheriff.
I know it. There it is.
Why was he called the Sheriff?
Because he threw 110 picks over his first 6 seasons. And other
No,
than that,
because
had
he
exactly
ran
same
the
stats as Justin
show.
Herbert.
He ran the show.
He was
Herbert's
the
just
dude.
along for the ride. There's a difference.
Oof.
Herbert is the ride.
Whoa.
Get him out of here.
Ask Madison Beer.
Hey, I will say Herbert's career is going to go one of 3 directions. Either
Retired.
it's going to go.
Ask for a trade.
Hang on, I'm getting there. It's going to go the way of Peyton Manning because he is that good. Except he's also mobile. It's going to go the way of Andrew Luck because he's had to deal with Greg Roman and that offensive line and no weapons repeatedly. Or it's going to go the way, and this would really hurt my heart, of Matthew Stafford. I think those are the 3 ways I see Justin Herbert playing out.
I could see it.
And now on to the last segment of the show. Anything else? JMO, what do you have as your anything else?
My anything else today might be a little controversial. We'll see. Stainless steel pans. I can't stand them. I hate them so much. And any just absolute self-absorbed, righteous, terrible human being that, oh, you just have to heat it up and then it's non-stick. Oh, you just have to reach this certain temperature. No, you're wrong. The entire idea behind stainless steel pans is stupid. Unless you are a Michelin star chef and you're trying to cook in a restaurant, do not get that anywhere near me. Oh yeah, you got to crank it up to 470 trillion degrees centigrade in order to cook this egg. But as soon as you do that, you got to bring it way back down, then crack your egg and put it on there. Make sure you don't burn it. Get off of me. I don't want to hear anything about it. If you use stainless steel pans, you're just purposely playing life on hard mode. It's dumb. I hate you. I can't stand it.
I'll be honest. We do not script the show. However, JMO asked me before we started recording this podcast. He said, I'm going to have a take in my anything else. And I feel like you're the only person in the world who's going to go against me. So I feel I need to give my take here. I do have a stainless steel pan. I use it very regularly. But I will say you're not crazy. I will not use it to cook eggs. As much as I love cooking, I won't use it to cook anything that's an extreme stick item.
That makes me feel better.
There are ways to make it work, as you mentioned. But yeah, for cooking eggs, it's just not worth it.
Yeah, we also have stainless steel, and I am on the same page as you. It is brutal to cook some things on it. And then it's like, if you cook like raw chicken, it's like you got to flip it when the chicken's done sticking, and it's like... So it's like I'm like
You're at the
trying to
mercy of
flip
the
chicken
pan.
to test, and like half of the chicken's like sticking to the pan. And it's like, well, there it is, you know. It's like
Yeah, exactly. I hate it. I hate it, and I hate you if you use it. That's my take.
Okay, David, what's your anything else?
All right, so I was doing some errands the other day, and I went into Lowe's, you know, just kind of shopping, and
Hashtag not a
it's such a
sponsor.
great store. So here's my little debate: what's better, Lowe's or Home Depot?
Home Depot, and it's not close. Next question.
Home Depot, and it's not close. Next question.
Ooh.
See, when I'm like getting stuff for work, I like Home Depot. But when I'm like getting stuff for my house and I kind of want to like look around and stuff, I like Lowe's. I just feel like it's like Target, you know? It's a lot more organized, a little less people. It's just an overall
Lowe's feels
better
elitist.
You're
experience.
bougie. You're
Lowe's
bougie,
feels
yeah.
elitist, and I don't know how to describe it, but it just is.
Right, because you can bring your
Yeah.
dog in and there's not bums
you can bring your
outside
dog
asking for work.
into a Home Depot.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like Walmart versus Target. It's like Market Basket versus a Shaw's or a Hannaford.
No, I'm going to
Just
stop
admit
you
it, you're
right there.
bougie.
We are
You're
not. We
bougie.
are not under any circumstance going to degrade the name of the great Market Basket, where you always get more for your dollar.
RDT.
You know me. You know me. I love Market Basket. I will pinch a penny better than anybody.
Yeah,
I
you will.
am Team Market Basket. That was not slandering Market Basket.
It better
Market
be.
Basket is Home Depot.
Okay, so
And
my final
Canada
take
Foods
on
is
Lowe's is they have a better. I like smoking meats and various things. They have better
Who doesn't?
spices. They have better like pellets. They have better stuff for
Love a
that.
good smoked meat.
They have better like if you're like you need like a little project at the house with some wood. Their wood section is way better than Home Depot. Like it's
That
actually
is
for
straight,
bougie.
and you can get like what you want exactly, and it's not, you know.
You're bougie. Just admit
Yeah,
it.
well, that's true. I've never
Slightly
seen somebody
bougie.
curve a 2x4 like Home Depot.
Yeah, you gotta like pick through the stag. All right, Bill, what do you got?
Okay, so my anything else. I want you both to get your phones out and get ready to message me on the side, not in the group chat.
Sir,
We're gonna
yes,
play a game
sir.
of Price is Right. So, and you guys know me. I am not handy. That's an understatement. That's like saying Jalen Hurts is a mediocre quarterback. It's
Facts.
an understatement.
Billy has Ryobi.
Oof.
I do have Ryobi.
A whole second set of Chargers to let him down.
Yeah, right.
So you guys know how hard it was for me not to tell you this story until this podcast, but I wanted to keep this game of Price is Right going.
Can't wait.
So on Sunday, around the mid-afternoon, I hear a beeping noise, and I'm like,
Smoke
that's
detector.
weird. I think it's coming from outside, so I sprint outside, and it's a septic box, and
Nice.
it's not the big siren like your septic's failed. It's the pump alarm inside of the box.
Yep.
So I call a septic company and call the plumber that they work with that'll agree to work on septic pumps, yada yada. Turns out it's original to the house, 1998. We've basically replaced everything at this point. It's practically a new house. But so we need a new pump, new float system, new transition box, as well as we had to get our septic pump so that the plumber could work on it. So my game for you two, and I want you to text me, is how much do you think it costs to get a septic pump? And just so you know, if it matters, we do have to pump upgrade because our leach field is higher. And I know this is first world problems, homeowner
Yeah.
problems, but I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, you gotta pump the pump uphill or the wastewater.
Yep.
Yeah. So the pump, the transition system, the everything, the floats, and get the septic pumped. How much do you think it was? And Price is Right rules, so closest without going over.
Can I phone a friend?
You know some people in the poop industry?
Yeah, I got family on the septics.
So just text me right now so I know that you guys are good.
I have sent my guess to you.
Okay. Actually, David, you can just say it out loud since Jeremiah sent it to me by now.
There
So
you go.
how much do you think all
Oh
that
God, I'm
cost?
gonna either embarrass myself because like my whole family does this, and I really don't know. I'd say around like $2,200.
Okay. Jeremiah, do you want to enlighten the
Yeah, I came in
listeners?
and I said 5187. I have no idea, to be honest. I do a lot of stuff at my house, and that's not one of them. So I
Yeah, you might be
smashed some
closer.
numbers together.
I know
Let's
pumping
see
the
how we
tank's like
did.
$500, and then obviously the pump's expensive, labor's expensive.
So
I'm probably
whether we
off.
were going closest guess or closest guess without going over, the winner is David. It was $3,275. So for those of you out there who maybe have an original septic pump to your house that's over 15, 20 years old, that's what you gotta look out for based
Yeah,
on
if
going
you
into
got
the day.
if you got nicer stuff, my number would have been right. So that's on you.
Fair enough. If I went with the Hannafords of plumbers and septic
Oh my
companies.
god. You say one more bad thing about Market Basket, I'm driving to your house and we're throwing down.
I love Market Basket. I'm just also not going to call it bougie.
You're wrong.
No, it's definitely not bougie. You go to the
How dare
wrong
you.
market basket.
Arthur T.
Bougie.
Demula is turning over in his grave. He's still alive, but he's pissed
Actually-
about it.
For anyone who's been to the Market Basket in Tuscan and Salem, it's actually pretty bougie.
Oh
Well,
my
yeah, it's
god.
Tuscan and Salem. Go to the one
This
at
guy.
Lowell.
Why? Why wouldn't
Why
I just
not?
go to the one in Tuscan
Just
and
people
Salem?
watch.
Well, I'm just
Looks
saying,
fair.
talking about bougie versus
Unfold your
non-bougie.
chair, throw it down, grab yourself a little drink, and see what happens.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Okay.
Great stuff.
So That's it for us here on Context Matters. Check us out on YouTube at Context Does Matter and Spotify, wherever else you can get your podcasts at the Context Matters podcast. Also, follow along with us on Twitter. I guess I mean Facebook at the Context Matters podcast, as we will be keeping the reaction and discussion going with this week's slate of games and all year long. I'm Bill, along with David and JMO. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Oh, bye bye.
Thank you, guys.